Hi, I'm Angie Pontani, the burlesque superstar who has spent the last 20 years shimmying and shaking around the globe. I've performed in showrooms, ballrooms, small rooms, and big rooms, every room except a mushroom. Along the way, I've met some amazing people, and I'd like to introduce them to you. Together, we will pull back the curtain to reveal what really happens behind the glitter, feathers, and tassels. So join me for the bump and grind. The world famous Pontani Sisters. Where do I begin? The Pontani Sisters helped launch my burlesque career. They were a major force in the neo movement from 99 till about 2007. We worked our tail feathers off to grab every opportunity on stage or screen that we could get our hands on. I was so excited to sit down with my sisters for this interview, but listeners, be warned. My organized questions, my Barbara Walters attitude, nothing could help me keep this train on the track. Have you ever tried to control a conversation with your family? How about an interview? Do you notice that when you talk to your siblings and besties, everybody talks at the same time? Apologies in advance. And all of this was exacerbated by several glasses of rosé. In our defense, it was a really hot day. This chat is fun and fast and full of amazing stories and experiences and memories and totally out of control in the absolute best way possible. Buckle your seatbelt, grab a glass of rosé, and enjoy my chat with Tara and Helen and me. I was in the chat too. We are the world famous Pontani Sisters. So I am here with Helen and Tara, and we are live from the basement studio with no ventilation to talk about the early years and the world famous Pontani Sisters. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, good. I'm so excited that you're excited to be here. All right, so let's roll it back. Let's roll it back to 1990.
What?
Yeah. Roll it back. Put the VHS in the rewinder machine and push the button to roll it back so you don't get fined when you return to the video store. 1999.
Okay.
We had an audition to find a long-lost sister. Right?
Yes, we did.
And this was truly the birth of the Pontani Sisters, right?
Truly.
Yes.
So, I mean, you think before that, I had just spun off of Dutch Wiseman's. I had bribed my sister Tara to dance with me in Coney Island and do assorted projects with me. And they went really well. And we realized that we needed to find the third component because magic is in 3. We all saw Charmed. We know how this goes. You know?
The 3.
Well, you were also asked to do a thing for the Flying Neutrinos.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't think I'm into that. Maybe. I don't even remember that. But that's when I think you put the audition out there for Helen.
Right. I did.
We're looking for Helen.
We were looking for Helen. That was actually the name of the audition. No, actually, in the audition was Showy and 5'2".
Yes.
Which we put in, what was it, Showbiz Weekly, backstage?
Backstage. You said you were looking for somebody who was, 5'2". And it was like, talked about, I think, headdresses or something. I don't remember, but I was like, oh my God.
Light bulb goes off. It's the dream casting. It's perfect. It's not something that you would have seen at that time. Usually it was like 5'6", 125 pounds. So we put an advertisement in the paper. We decided we needed a third sister to really fill it out. And part of the advertisement was Showy and 5'2", and boom, that's what Helen saw. And that led us to an epic audition.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Which was stunning view into showbiz in New York City and what happens when you have an open call.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I remember
insane.
there were some very interesting people there.
Oh my gosh.
The one thing I'll never forget is the one woman, I believe she was from Israel, and she wore stripper heels, and she sang a whole song that was like this. She wears high heels when she dances. She wears high heels in the night.
She was also scary and
She was
intimidating.
terrifying. And I never forget there was like a prima ballerina who came in, who was the other girl that we really were like, oh, she's really great too. And after the prima ballerina went, the girl with the high heels said, I do it in high heels.
I'm so sad I missed that part though. Like I didn't get to see that. But
I just remember being like, oh my God, what a window into like I'm like, I'm okay in life. I feel good about my choices. I'm okay.
Open calls really turn it out.
Okay.
So we see Helen, and I remember she had this headshot that was actually like totally beautiful. It was like in 1920s with her little blonde hair was combed down, and she had her hands up around her face, and it looked like one of those Hollywood portraits from the 1930s or 40s that your dad, Frank, took. Your dad, right?
Yeah. So I was like, Dad, I want to take a photo that I want to find a job that fits this photo.
Right.
And so we took the photo, and it was very like, Greta Garbo, like that whole feel. So that's what happened, and I found the job.
And you got that job, and now 345 years later, how'd that work out?
It worked out great. I wouldn't change a thing.
So I believe this was 1999, right? Because
yes, it definitely was.
It was 1999.
It had to be.
Because
99, 2000.
Because I believe at this point we were working up to the gig at the Breakers.
Yep, we were doing the 2000 at the Breakers.
We
Yes, Y2K. Wasn't it Y2K?
It was Y2K.
Y2K. We thought the world was going to end.
Yes,
well, we
did.
didn't, but we.
Well, I mean, I feel like we watched Times Square to make sure it was still there.
We did.
Well, I remember Dad was like, just make sure you know where your exits are.
I don't remember that.
Like, so I remember being like, okay, there's an exit.
I definitely remember being like, are we going to be...
I brought my brother with me.
Yeah.
I brought one of my family members because I was like,
Yes.
Well, I also it was a really big deal what we were doing.
Yes.
Like,
So we were performing at the Breakers it's
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach, super fancy rich. And we went there with the Flying Neutrinos to do this show, and we got there and we realized we couldn't afford to eat. We were staying at the Breakers, but we were like, okay, that cheeseburger is $80. And we were very...
No, we legit pulled up. Were we in the minivan?
We were in a minivan.
We were in the minivan.
In the Pontano van.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a gold Windstar.
Like,
right? Was it a Windstar?
1986.
Right, and I remember like in the middle
minivan.
Yeah,
It was a minivan. It wasn't even like, let's picture ourselves like, can we redo that and have like Thelma and Louise moment?
Yeah,
like,
we
we were in
didn't
a
do
freaking
that.
Minivan.
We were in a minivan, and we had such ambition. We couldn't have gotten paid more than $1,000 for this gig, and we drove to Florida. That's youthful ambition.
Oh my God.
Well,
we
also,
were in our 20s. We were young.
We were
I remember when we pulled up, we were like, oh my gosh. Like I could smell money when we drove into the town.
We didn't even fly there.
No.
But do you guys, I remember having on like basically I had on winter clothing like in summer in Florida.
You were wearing sailor pants.
Yeah,
sailor pants
I was wearing wool sailor pants
II.
and also vintage like, someone else's pants.
No, they were really from World War II.
Yeah.
They're from the Army surplus store.
So we had our own style going on, and I think we look good. But once I walked in there, I just started to feel the cheap. Like I started to feel like the synthetic of my clothes. Yeah, it was like a vampire seeing like going into the light.
That was our first professional gig.
Yeah. Right, and so we get thrown into that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know what fork to use at that point.
No.
We're at the Breakers.
We were the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes,
not men.
we said that we were the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah,
and we truly were.
Yep.
It was hilarious.
But this was kind of the point where, we really started to work professionally. I mean, we were back in New York City and we had all these other gigs that we were doing. We were down at Beauty Bar. We were at Barmacy. We were at Windows on the World. We were at Marian's. But this was our first foray into these fancy pants gigs that we did a lot of throughout our entire career. When I was interviewing Murray, we talked about our gig where we met Murray, where we shared the dressing room with the dogs that had their own room at the Soho Grand.
Yep, I remember the wedding.
The couple had their dog room at the Soho Grand.
Well, yeah, we started to get used to being in that environment, but we were thrown into that immediately, and it was like we just, it was hilarious to see us in that. But we adapted quick.
Yeah, well, quickly. And you always would have this feeling with private parties. Like, I feel like private parties or events like that, which are so outside of your typical audience, where you just feel like, I guess the world famous Bob always used to say it, like, pony. And you just feel like a little, like, I'm the little pony that they brought in to show everybody and walk around the ring and, do the Pontani Sisters thing. And the Pontani Sisters thing at this point was basically, like, we were like, let's come up with a number for everything, right? Mm-hmm. We had, like chair dance sexy numbers. We had Mambo Italiano. We had a number where we tap dance to Danny Boy, that you can kind of think of, like, I felt like I just went down a checklist to make up a number to do.
We had a cheerleading number.
We had a cheerleading number. We had go-go.
Can.
Our Vegas showgirl number.
Vegas showgirl. We really did.
Had
you
could
pick.
Tap dance. Pick your Pontani sister. Number. Not which one.
Yeah.
Not which sister.
But all of this came together to create like a really great body of work that then could adapt into all these different situations that we found ourselves playing in.
Right.
Yes.
What was your favorite?
What number or situation?
Oh, wow. What would be your favorite situation? Was it like a regular night at Marion's where we would get mashed potatoes in our tail feathers as we danced around?
Well, so Marion's was an awesome kitschy restaurant on the Bowery, and it had this fun history to it where like cool celebs and beatniks would go hang out, and so that felt really cool to be there. But then Barmacy was something completely different.
Oh my gosh.
The World was something completely different, and the private gigs were something completely different. And often people would come see us in these environments and think we could translate out into the private gigs.
Yes, and that's where the problem happened. That's where we'd show up at
things got real interesting.
At the office party in our fringe costumes, and then women that were there would have a problem with it, and it's like, but you brought us here.
Well, and I remember this is the one particular night, and I'm going to
this is the same one I'm going to say that was like, we're going home.
But just to put it into context, it's the early 2000s in New York City. It's a bit of a different time than it is right now, right? Giuliani is cracking down on everything, and I always talk about like this point in time as like a complicated time in feminism where it's like you felt like if women were going to get out in the workplace and we're going to work and it's New York City and I'm going to get a job at a big firm and I'm going to put on this suit and I'm not going to wear red lipstick and I'm not going to wear high heels. I feel like there was almost this stripping of your femininity, a stripping of your sexuality that women felt that you had to strip this away from yourself if you wanted to be taken seriously in the man's world and get a real job in business. So I feel like that's the subtext underneath this experience.
It was like a very specific box to fit in with feminism. Right? Like it was not open to different interpretations of feminism, maybe.
Which is much broader now.
Absolutely. And what was more feminist than what we were doing?
And that's what we always said. Again, we were
traveling the world, making money, doing what we wanted to do. It was freedom. And freedom is feminism.
You know what I mean? Pulled it out of our butts, right? We literally pulled this career out of our
You were making costumes out of freaking curtains. So you know what I mean? And it was like, it was, when people say blood, sweat, and tears, that is legit. That's a true thing. There's a reason why they say that, because I never knew what that meant until we did this.
And we were just three broke chicks basically living in Brooklyn,
still catching up on that credit,
that made this happen. And we came up with this idea and we put these numbers together, rehearsing in Helen's basement, and we start getting booked for these gigs. And this one in particular was for PricewaterhouseCoopers. And we went there, and a woman came to see us at Marion's, and she loved us, and she wanted to hire us to come do the party. And we went out and we performed, I believe it was the Peppermint Twist.
Yes.
We're in cheerleader costumes. The Pontani Sisters did not really even strip, right? And we're just doing this super choreographed dance. I don't remember what news outlet it was, but somebody called us the Punk Rock Rockettes, and I always loved that. So we're just here. And we just insulted more than one of the women that were in the audience, so much so that after our number, they came and asked us to leave. We were told we were putting back the feminist movement. The girl who hired us was crying. And we went
and we're standing there in our,
But also, it was a horribly awkward situation to be in because it was like a banquet room and we were around round tables and the lighting was super bright. Like, it didn't translate. How the girl saw us at Marion's, it didn't translate into that.
Right. She came into Marion's and she was completely entertained and she's like, I want to share this.
Right.
And then she takes us into her environment and they're like,
and Marion's is a small room, downtown, eclectic bar, party every night, bar and restaurant.
And every type of human in there. It was such a diverse, beautiful, love place, and it was just wonderful. And I think when we went into that horrible banquet room, like it was just with fluorescence and it just did not translate.
And that's not the first time that happened to us. We were also asked to leave a party for Bloomberg, to which they booked us to perform, and I said, this isn't the right thing. And they basically said, if you don't perform, we're going to sue you for breach of contract. But I knew it wasn't right.
Right.
And we got there and we did one number.
We were dancing to the Beatles' Help. They were introducing their help key on their keyboard.
Yeah. And we had t-shirts on. We had t-shirts and
fully dressed.
With full pants.
We were literally just doing the twist.
And I remember we had a boombox and we would walk around from office space to office place.
It was mortifying.
Press play and it was like, help, I need somebody. And we did our stupid dance. And the worst of the worst was we're dancing in this one cubicle space and we're doing our number and I don't know, this like guy pops up his head. He's like, Ange? And it was our cousin, Nikki.
I think he's a tad.
I was like, Nikki, look away. Leave us alone. Don't remember this.
I remember that.
Now tell me after that we did go out to eat nachos and drink a gallon of wine after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But like one of those would definitely be one of those moments where you're like, I have to like make myself better by
well, we did get escorted out of Bloomberg by security.
And we did get that check though.
But the Statue of Liberty got escorted out before we did.
And so did the clown. Bradford Scobie was there as a clown. He was the ukulele Louie, the clown, and he got escorted out as well.
It was so...
Basically, everyone they hired got escorted out.
I feel bad for the HR department because they were probably trying to make it really fun and bring some cool downtown life into like
every once in a while someone would...
stiff places, and it just doesn't translate. But going back to that favorite gig, we were escorted out of not escorted out. We left PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Yeah, we didn't have a security escort on that one.
No, they were just like, get out of here, you anti-feminist, you're setting our movement back. But we were in a cab, and I remember the three of us sitting in that cab and going down to Marion's. Did we have a gig?
We had a gig, yes.
Yeah. And we were like, we're going home. Like, it was just like, we are going to our people.
And I remember there was a small child in the audience that night, a little girl, and she drew us on a plate and gave us the plate, and I have it. It's up in the attic.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was just so happy, and I remember we felt so affirmed that, okay, we're doing a good thing. We're spreading joy and love.
Yeah.
And so we talk about all these early experiences, and there were, it's trial and error. There was nothing like the Pontani Sisters. There was nothing like us at that time. The burlesque movement was coming up in New York City. There was a lot going on, but even within that, there was nothing like the Pontani Sisters. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about what I felt like was the first moment where I was like, holy shit, we're doing something amazing. And that's when we went to the first Teaserama, which we also drove to.
Yep.
Airline tickets must have been really expensive in the 90s.
You know what? We were fucking broke and we had no credit.
Do you remember
what it was?
Yeah. So we get to the venue, the Howling Wolf.
And this was 2002?
Yeah.
2001?
It was 2001. It was May 2001.
Oh, girl.
Well, you know why I know?
No.
Because that's where I met my future husband.
Oh, you met your sweet love.
Yeah.
And it was his birthday weekend.
Oh my God, that's right. Okay.
So that's the weekend of May 20th. That's Kyle's birthday. Mm-hmm. And it was 2000. It was pre 9/11.
That's the sound of Rosé being poured.
Mm-hmm. Give
Rosé break.
But do you remember we get there and we realized we're doing a tap number and we had to go buy.
We had to go to Home Depot.
We went to Home Depot to buy plywood and we strapped to the top of the car.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's so insane.
Yeah, so tell me that's not some badass shit. Yeah.
No. The early days of burlesque where you do it yourself or you don't do it at all.
Feminist people than in the burlesque movement.
No, absolutely.
Not even.
But so we get to Teaserama. It's 7,000 degrees. We're staying at a hotel where they filmed Anne Rice's bloodletting movie. There's fake nails on the floor.
I think there was actually an Anne Rice thing going on.
That was the week before. That's what the fake nails were left over from.
But there were Lee press-on nails on the table.
The cleaning services at this place that we stayed were questionable. This was before Yelp and hotels.com. So, and the Howling Wolf is where the first Teaserama was. The air condition had broken. It was 1,000 degrees. And the energy was just amazing, though, right? This is the first time that all of these people came together, right? Like Dirty and Julie and Tigger.
We
wasn't
met
there, but that whole
in
California
New Orleans.
crew. Yeah.
Remember, we didn't even know a lot of them from New York.
Oh, yeah.
We had just met for the first time because it was such the beginning of this thing.
Well, even to be called burlesque, too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was just the beginning. And there were Seattle girls there.
Yes.
And, like,
I can't even remember the names.
All California.
Dita was there. Catherine Delish was there. But the energy was like electric, right? And the show, this was the early days. People didn't know how to put together these shows as we do now. And I just remember we brought all of our costumes.
Oh my God. Every single costume.
Brought every single costume we had. We didn't even, every tape, we had all our music on CD, and I just remember Baby Doe and Allison Fensterstock were running it, and Alan Horowski. And we just kind of became like the go-to. So if there was anything wrong in between numbers or if somebody wasn't ready, they would be like, hey, Pontani Sisters. And we're like, we're ready.
Yeah, we had a new costume on.
And we were just standing there in our next costume. And we literally performed at least 12 times over the 2 nights of Teaserama, just dropping number after number and all different, completely different. And it was like, we were like the belles of the ball. Yeah. We were like the toast of the town.
Yes.
And I remember that specifically being the first time where I was like, okay, I know New York really loved us after we rolled it out. We got all these gigs there, but now we were in New Orleans and it was kind of like everybody was like, wow, this is crazy. This is amazing.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. No, we felt
electric.
it.
There was so much magic going on.
Oh, yeah. And there was magic from everybody. But I felt for us, it was really like, wow, look at what these chicks are doing. Because, everybody's doing the classic striptease, which is amazing. And I love it. But we were the only people who were doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And to just talk about that a bit, because I remember at that point in time, there were people who are in burlesque still to this day who were like, well, that's cute, but the Pontani Sisters aren't burlesque. Are the Pontani Sisters burlesque? Were the Pontani Sisters burlesque?
Absolutely.
We are burlesque.
Please. We didn't even know what burlesque was, and then the woman from the Village Voice came and saw us at Marion's and said, these girls are burlesque. Which is a parody of things. It's satire, it's parody, it's just, and that's what
burlesque was never just the striptease, and people, and a lot of people know that, and a lot of people who say that to us are actually people who have studied the history of this, and so it's interesting that they say that. So it's like a weird thing, because to hear that, it's a little bit of a slap in the face sometimes in this world that we put so much work into, and we worked so hard and
helped to create.
One
thing I've learned, I just want to do a timeout here, and this is Maine and I came to a realization, and I did an interview with the main attraction, and it's like, I think after you cross a certain age, it's okay to start crediting yourself with what you've done in your life, because you just start to be like, F that. You know what? Oh, no. My blood, sweat, and tears are right here.
And you know what? And I watched an interview with Dolly Parton, and it was eye-opening, and she was like, you know what? I'm worth more than that. I want to be paid more than that. Like, I'm more than your backup girl. I am worth it. Well, and it's like, know your worth and know what you put into it. We put so much into that early burlesque movement, not even knowingly. We were just being ourselves and doing our own
and working
thing.
really hard,
but sacrificing for something that we believed in.
And we truly loved.
Well, and I think this is really interesting too, because I talk a lot too about the neo-burlesque movement, and a lot of it is powered by women who were like super educated, went to college, got degrees, studied art. None of us came from that background. So I just want to take a little sidebar and talk about what growing up, like what our lives were like. Like, we come from blue collar families. Mm-hmm. We come from working class families. We come from families that had their own businesses. Yep. And I felt like Helen always said this when we started the Pontani Sisters. Helen would always say, it's a baby. The Pontani Sisters is our baby. And when you have a baby, you can't leave it alone for a second. You watch your baby. You're on top of your baby all the time. And I just felt like, the work ethic in the Italian-American family that we came from was so hard. It's literally, I think it's actually psychotic, and when I look at it now and I know more people who are not Italian-American, I'm like, oh, there's a better balance. We actually don't have to work until we die.
Yeah, I didn't.
But it's the same thing for you.
My parents were the same. My dad, they would work on the weekends even after they worked a whole, 60-hour week.
Talk about what your family is what?
Well, my mom, you mean like what our background? My mom's background is Polish, and my dad is just, Eastern European, like mutt sort of situation. Like, my mom's family is mutt, like they're so much about the work and about like, they all work so hard. Like, that's all they know.
They're about work and they're about family. Your mom is so much about family. Oh my gosh,
it's all about family. Like, that's one of the hard things of leaving and moving far away from your family when they're so connected like that. It's kind of like against the rules. Like, I kind of broke the rule. Yeah. And then I came here and I found another family, and then, we started on this journey. So it's just, but yeah, my family is, they're hardworking people, and,
they're awesome.
Basically like freaking, my parents worked in a photo finishing plant. Like, it's like basically like factory work. Like, it's,
Yeah. From Detroit, which is such a freaking cool place.
But like, and it's like, they just basically worked to give us whatever we wanted, So that's how my family grew up. But it wasn't, my brother went to college, but, education wasn't pushed on me super hard because my parents knew that I just loved to dance, and they were like, you're going to do whatever you want to do. And actually I wanted to go to a really like a good college. And my dad's like, I just don't think that you're going to last there for that long. And I don't want to spend at that time, $20,000 was a lot. He's like, why don't you go to the community college and we'll see what happens. So that lasted for about 2 years. And now here I am. Hello.
Hello. But our families are very similar.
Oh.
I mean, I'll never forget when poor Helen had to miss
poor Helen.
Christmas one year.
Oh my God, with I spent it with the Pontanis.
It was because of Conan.
Yes.
Was it
Yes.
not?
We
Right.
had several engagements on the Conan O'Brien show,
Yes.
but this would have been our first one.
Our first one. Which is also a really wonderful story now.
Oh, well, we have to tell it now.
But Helen, to just tie this into Helen's family, is that Helen could not go home for Christmas because
and that
of
was
the
like
taping.
unheard of. Like
Right.
you're not allowed to not come home for Christmas.
Exactly.
But I show up at the Pontanis. They let me come to their house. You guys let me come to your parents.
Well, it's also
all
unheard of for us to have people at our
Yeah.
house on
Yeah.
Christmas.
But your
That's not family.
Your parents got me gifts. Like
yeah.
remember, like there was like a watch.
You had a
and-
present pile.
I
And
still have
I
an Italian horn necklace. The
Oh my God,
necklace.
no.
Yeah, I still have
But
it.
I
Yeah.
will not forget my mom said, she comes from a great family. Like, because of how you held yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and how wonderful and gracious. And, like, I think we are sisters. We just are sisters.
Oh,
Like, it
for
was
sure.
just really, I just remember my mom. And my mom doesn't say that about everyone.
I know,
And,
yeah.
And she was just
Italians are not trusting people.
no. And she's
Well, my mom
Helen's
is
a
not
beautiful person.
is
Helen's
outspoken in that
beautiful.
sense, but she kind of says it in another way.
Yeah.
She just is like, oh, they're
Yeah.
all right. Like,
But our
anyway.
first Conan experience,
Oh my
to
God.
just
Such heartbreak.
to quickly just grab it, is here we are, we're rolling along. It's the early 2000s. We're working 4 nights a week. Marion's, Windows on the World, Pharmacy, Beauty Bar, anywhere that anybody will hire us. Galapagos. And Amy Sedaris used to be a waitress at Marion's, which is where we started our career. And she came in one night and she saw us, and she was going on Conan, and it was Christmas time, and she said, I want to do a skit where I'm like the 4th Pontani sister, but like I'm just a wreck. Like I have like a bush
Hairy
coming out of my
armpits.
bikini,
And we were like,
hairy armpits, and we come out and do this beautiful number, and I'm just the disaster dancing around. So I made her a costume.
Yes.
We came up
We
with
had rehearsals.
choreography.
We
rehearsed.
a lot.
And then we go on Conan, and we're in the dressing room, and we're meeting everybody, and everybody who worked there was just so freaking cool and so great, and they were so excited. We ran the number,
Yes.
and
We
then
ran it with Conan
we
because
ran
we were
it-
going to do a kick line with Conan.
Mhm. Oh my God, Conan was going to come in the kick line.
Yes.
And remember, at this time, we have told our families, our maybe even our high school
Everybody.
friends.
We did a postcard run.
Okay, time out. This is before social media.
Yes. So
Okay.
God, could you imagine if
We
we
literally
were
cut and paste and
We
made
printed postcards, and we sent them out to our whole mailing list saying that we were going to be on Conan O'Brien tonight. Everybody tune in, right? And you shoot that day. You shoot that afternoon. So we're shooting, and Dick Clark was a guest.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Because it was coming up on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
Dick Clark smashed our dreams.
Oh my
Dick
God.
Clark talked too long, and they had to cut us from the scene, and we're sitting in the dressing room in our little Christmas bikinis, waiting, so excited. And
We got new wigs. You made us. Andrew was like, we need to go.
We
get
all had
nails
fake
done.
nails.
We had fake
We got
nails.
our nails done. I remember you didn't want to get your nails done. We had a fight about getting
We had
nails done.
acrylic tips.
I was like, okay,
And Christmas
now I can't.
colors.
Now I wish I could get acrylic tips, but
I remember that. But I remember the knock on the
yeah.
door and the producer coming in. I remember exactly what
Oh,
he
my
looked
heart
like.
just sank with that feeling of that moment.
Oh my gosh. And he's like, we have to cut. We were mortified. It was horrible.
We went home and
No,
we
we
drank.
didn't.
No, we went and had
to-
tapas.
tapas, and we drank the blood of
went
the
to
bull wine.
Yes, the blood of
and
the
you
bull.
kept your wig on the whole time because you had this blonde
We went
wig.
to the restaurant that's on like Stuyvesant
Yeah.
and Astor. Like, right? It's
Yeah.
not there anymore.
East Village
Yes.
area, yeah.
And we got the
The blood of the bull.
blood of the bull wine.
Yeah, because we felt that was. Oh, I'm sorry. Because we
My
felt
wine.
that was appropriate
Here,
to drink the
pour
blood
the
of the
rosé.
bull.
Here's some blood of the bull right now.
But that devastation, because I truly felt at that moment we were going on TV, and for the Pontani Sisters, anything we touched at that point was like gold. Like we would do a show and it would sell out. We would go and perform somewhere and everybody loved us. I felt like we're going to go on Conan, and then tomorrow we'll be on Broadway.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. I think we all
this is
felt
it.
that way.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
the
it.
golden
Oh,
ticket.
our
This is-
parents, like everybody
This
was
is
at
the
home.
Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Helen
I
missed Christmas. And that knock just like deflated.
The
Oh,
wind
so hard.
The wind was out of our sails, man.
But this is the thing about show business, right? Mm-hmm. That deflating of the sales, the whole crew at Conan felt really bad about it. They really did. And so
they could see our excitement.
And they were excited for
us. When they saw us, they loved us.
Because we were something different. You know, at that point, if Conan had like dancing girls on, they would get them from Casting Central and it would come like the aspiring Rockettes. And here we are, 5'2", giant coolies, tattoos, you know.
Comedic thing about us.
Comedic, but we could still execute the moves.
Kind of sexy. Totally sexy. Not kind of sexy.
Girl, come on. Super sexy.
Girl, we
mega sexy.
Super sexy and comedic at the same time.
Yep.
So they really dug us, and out of that heartbreaking moment came 5 or 6 appearances on Conan where they would call us to do anything from push Abe to go to a tub, dance with a hot dog.
We have to talk about the sing opera. But wait,
yes.
and also, not for nothing, we played Debbie's wedding.
Yes.
And she was a booker, booked the band.
Yeah, she booked the bands
on Conan. And we played her wedding.
And we went back several times with those straight jackets.
Yes. No, we became regulars of the show.
It was an awesome thing. But one of my favorite memories, too, is when they did call us back to Conan. And we always assumed we would be dancing on Conan. And they were like, oh, okay, we want you to go into the band room, talk to Max Weinberg, freaking Bruce Springsteen's drummer, who I love Bruce. And Max was, I'll never forget, what key do you guys sing?
And we don't sing. We never sang. No. I mean, Helen and I sang in our younger years.
Yeah,
I mean,
can sing.
I can carry a tune, but I'm not a singer, but I can carry a tune.
But also, if you ask me what key I sing in,
I don't even know.
I'm like, what key?
Yeah.
Any.
But I do remember being like, you know,
Well, I think we had to regret. Then we went into our dressing room. We were like, Well,
I think we were like, play it for us, da-da-da-da. And then we were like, you know what would be really funny is if we sing it in opera.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We said we sing in the key of opera.
Yeah. And they were like, okay.
And they were totally dug it.
They laughed.
Yeah.
And we sang it in opera.
He can't waste time. He can't waste time. Conan O'Brien, he can't waste time. He's got a lot to do when the clock is ticking. Conan O'Brien can't waste time. I need to warm up. I had to warm up before.
That was pre-twins. How I remember that shit.
Listen, I will never forget that as long as I live because there was so much pressure in that moment of like.
And you literally elbowed me in the ribs.
Oh, I was like, I'm gonna kill this bitch right now.
No, Tara, you definitely were like.
I was.
But I get it. I get it.
I was like, I don't sing.
Tara, we're like, oh yes, we do. We're like pitching you. We do sing.
Helen and I will do anything. We are basically the biggest hams in the world. I'm like, we'll do it. We'll do it.
I'm like, if you ask me if I'm a gymnast, I'm like, I can do cartwheels. Yes.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Tara's more of a realist.
No,
I am in other. I'm like that in other areas of my life, but not with
showbiz.
Yeah, with showbiz.
And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not the people you want.
And I'm like, you should.
Andrew and Helen, literally, I think I had broken ribs on either side because they were like, we're fucking doing this.
And we did it. And we nailed it.
And we nailed it. And it's so funny.
Oh, so good.
I watched that and I laughed so hard. And I'm like, thank God they elbowed me in the ribs.
And the energy of the filming for those crowds was so much fun. And the whole process that would go into that day. And just to think, like, tying it back to the burlesque scene, us being able to do that, to transcend. Yeah. The Pontani Sisters transcended. We weren't just in the downtown burlesque scene. We were on freaking Conan O'Brien. Yeah. We were regulars on Conan O'Brien.
We crossed over into a lot of scenes, man. We did the Good Morning show.
Oh, yeah, we were on news shows.
Getting up at 3 o'clock. We would stay up till the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, but we had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning when we did the morning shows.
And they would send a car to come and get us, and we would go to that building with the globe.
New York. We did some New York.
What was that website that we launched?
Sexual Well-Being.
Sexual Well-Being. Yes. And then after that, we went and taught our
Crunch.
We
also had a series of Crunch Gym. Crunch Gym hired us to teach
They brought us in to do our style of workout class.
We did a workout class.
Yep.
So for us, it was I always say the Pontani Sisters were so organic in their creation, but I don't ever want to undermine from our hard work and dedication because we worked 24 hours a day and we never said no to anything.
Never.
I mean, we needed a website, and this was the beginning of the World Wide Web. And
I remember being so excited.
I literally took a class on how to, because we couldn't afford to pay our girl to keep updating our site because we kept having new gigs come in, and she was lovely. And But she would charge us every time. Yeah. And we're like, we can't afford this. So I took that course. I learned how to do our website. And we just became so organic in every single thing that we did.
No, and I all kind of took on our own jobs of doing things. Like I lived across the street from the post office. Like, Helen, take over Google aerobics. You know, it was like all of us were working. It was like we had a job almost sometimes 24 hours a day because things would pop up. And you know, at the time, I just remember being like, that was my first priority out of anything over my relationship, my family, anything. Like it was hot. Yeah.
Well, and so I remember, you know, we were at Windows on the World where we had a Friday night party, and that's where we met Los Straitjackets. And Los Straitjackets are a surf band, and they're just really simpatico in style. They're burlesque. They're a parody of a surf band, but they nail it. You know, I feel like that's part of the thing is like they have the talent and they have the skill set to just crush a set, but there's also so much satire and comedy in their performance. And we met them there, and they said to us after the show, we're going on the road together. And I remember we were like, haha, yeah, sure. Yeah,
we were a few vodka gimlets in.
We ended up going on the road with them for several years. And I felt like we learned so much because, you know, they had a record label, they had a manager, they had an agent, and they would send us these itineraries. And we would go out on the road for, you know, 3 weeks at a time and travel and play these gigs. And I felt like we learned so much there. And I remember after we went out on the road with them a couple times, then we said, okay, we're going to start doing this. And I remember us being in the apartment, and I would be calling clubs, and Helen would be map questing dresses from one venue to the next and printing that out so that we could put that into our itinerary to like travel around. It was like we had like a real little office, you know?
Yep.
And just so we could take the show out on the road and help get burlesque, you know, not just in New York City, not just in Chicago, not just in New Orleans, not just in Los Angeles, to help to connect those dots that were all in between. And we did a lot of dot connecting.
Oh, yeah. Lincoln, Nebraska.
Well, and I feel like performing in those places was like so wonderful in the sense because everybody was so thirsty for something like this, you know, so it was like so much fun.
Such a warm welcome.
Yeah.
And you're also talking about like the, you know, early 2000s where you're just coming off the grunge movement. So now like you think of the Pontani Sisters, it's not that revolutionary, but at that time it's like no one was expecting to see 3 girls come out on stage and do these little bibbity boppity happy dances in these costumes and, you know, this upbeat music and doing something completely different. So it was a total shock to the system.
Yeah.
This generation had never seen something like that, I think.
No, I definitely think so. And it was awesome too because we were playing music festivals.
Oh, we were playing Bethlehem Music Festival.
Thousands and thousands of people watching. It was awesome for us to have that because we played venues with like 500, 200 people.
Oh my gosh, you'd look out there with thousands of people.
But with like a music festival, that was a whole
Well, and also I always like to say, like, people look at our work with Los Straitjackets and they're like, well, they just go dance with them. But we didn't. We actually, with Los Straitjackets said, you do whatever you want to do.
They were so wonderful.
We made up full numbers to their songs.
Yep.
In between intermission, we also did our own numbers and we go dance. So we would be literally dead by the end of those shows. We performed during their set, during the intermission.
Yeah. And then imagine some of the dressing rooms were downstairs or upstairs. So we'd run up the stairs.
The crowd, sometimes
running through the crowd, going, because rock venues are not set up like theaters. Obviously, we, you know, and so these backstage areas are not necessarily always, you know, where the band is kept on the other side of the bar or the, you know, club.
It wasn't convenient to what we were doing. And but Los Straitjackets were so wonderful to us.
Oh, they gave us so much. They were so open to whatever.
They were big promoters of the Pontani Sisters.
Even as far as our Go-Go Aerobics DVD, which is, you know, I felt like, you know, again, like growing up, we came from families who had their own businesses, right? So my whole thing was always like, well, what can we do next? How can we make more money? What can we do? We're on stage. What can we sell? We had a lot of ideas over the years of what we can sell. Some were slam dunks. Some are still boxes of 7,000 koozies sitting
I thought the koozie. I really did. We were doing all these music festivals. Yes, a lot of dudes drinking beer.
Yes. When we did that show at First Avenue, we had, oh man, we were like guns. We were young guns. We were ready to blaze on stage and do can. We went out there. Something happened. We all forgot the choreography. Something happened, which we call Tiger in a Cage, where you just forget everything and you just look at each other, but you're not transmitting a message because you all have the same feeling of horror. So you just keep running from corner to corner.
We put our skirts over our heads, like a can style. And we just acted crazy and screamed a lot.
And it was so sad because it was like, we probably were in the dressing room like, this is it. We're going to kill it. It was Conan relived.
Yeah,
it was.
Just dreams dashed. But not really.
No.
Nobody knew the difference.
Nobody knew. We had a freaking great time on that stage. We were mortified when we got off, but we killed the next act, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But we played First Avenue so many times after that.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Come on.
No.
We had a good run. We had a lot of fun.
No, we had a great run, and our run is running other runs.
Well, and our run has made tangents of other runs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So one thing that I did want to touch on was, we jumped into this and it wasn't blindly, but we jumped into it blindly. We hit the ground running, all cylinders, gas on the floor, no mercy, pedal to the metal. We didn't always think things completely through, though, right? So, like, even our name, the World Famous Pontani Sisters, that came up because we were performing on the boardwalk in Coney Island at the Mermaid Parade, which Coney Island was really a breeding ground for us, in a sense, because we knew that we could always go there and do whatever we wanted and somebody would clap for us, right? It was like...
It may have been a drunk person falling off of his stool, but
which
he was
actually happened at one of our shows, but they're just going to clap for you and make you feel good about your life choices. So we were performing in Coney Island, and we were performing with this band, the Brooklyn Bums, and the lead singer, Broccoli Rob, said the World Famous Pontani Sisters. And from that, we were just like, yeah, that sounds really cool. So we just took that name, right? And we wrote, once everybody started loving us and we were like getting all these great accolades, we were like, okay, I guess we're just going to double down on this lie that we're all birth sisters.
Yeah. We kept it for a while.
We all have big smiles and big butts, and that's all that you needed. Yeah. My favorite would be like when someone would be like, you and Helen really look alike, but Tara, she looks different.
Right. Most of the time it was people being like you and Tara, but like every once in a while someone would be like, yeah.
But it was just, and we doubled down on it, and we had a lot. I'm sure, Helen, that you had a lot of issues about it because you were the one who was doing the biggest lies.
And at first it was really fun.
It was great.
No,
then we got to know people.
Yeah, I think looking back, I wish I would, like, there's part of me that was like started to take it seriously and go, oh, I'm lying. And now I wish I would have just been like laughing along the whole time. But when you're in it, it started to be like, people would come up to me and be like, I know you're a huge Elvis fan. And I'm like, totally.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, it's no big deal. It's showbiz.
Or they're like, what was it like growing up Italian in New Jersey?
Right. And I know the Pontani Sisters were built on some of your actual things that, you love or how you grew up.
Right.
And I have no problem lying. But every once in a while, I'd be like, I'm not Italian, and I like Elvis, but I don't love him. I think it's just every once in a while it would feel a little lonely in that situation. But then I would be like, okay, I'm doing everything that I love.
2020.
Oh, yeah.
But we wrote it so hard, and we did get into these situations where we would be like, oh my God, now we're friends with this person.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And they want to do a documentary on us.
Do we tell them?
And what the frick,
right? Or we're playing their wedding now. Like, do we tell them? Because they really are, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. Or we're spending the night in their house at Brother Cleve's.
Yeah. And then they start asking me family questions, and I'm like, totally. Making stuff up.
But so ultimately it came out because we did do a documentary, Showy and 5'2", with Rebecca Shapiro. And we were like, okay, this woman is like dedicating time into this film project, like, and money, and we have to.
And she thought we were sisters.
And she thought we were sisters when we started. And we were like, we have to come clean with her. And she actually went to Detroit. She went to Detroit and
she came to my brother's wedding. Yeah,
she went.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Do you remember? We performed at my brother's wedding.
She went to Jersey and interviewed our parents, and we came clean with her, and it was. So then we have this documentary coming out, and we still haven't told anybody that is friends with us that knows us from performance that we're not really sisters. So this was like our big coming out, and it actually got a feature in the Village Voice that Trisha Romano wrote. Like, they lied. They're liars. But it was crazy, and I felt it. It was like you wanted to be honest, but it was also showbiz, and we were telling this tale and selling this story and selling this imagery that it synced up so perfectly.
Yeah, and we also bled out into our audience. So like we weren't just on the stage; we actually went out after our shows, and we ended up meeting people.
We actually became friends.
We were very interactive with people at our shows, so it wasn't this fine dividing line, and it was. an awkward situation.
Looking back, I say we should have lied the whole time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, our hearts got into it, and, you know.
You made friends with people, and then you're like, oh my God, we're lying.
No, looking back, I'm like, I love Elvis, and I'm Italian. Like, that's it. You know, I'm done.
But come on, man, it's so...
it gets so tangled.
It's so Barnum Bailey. So, such a good press hit have revealed it like that, right?
Totally. Oh, totally.
But we did have feelings of guilt. I remember being so nervous before that film premiere, and I remember sitting there, like, and Joe Boobs was there, and there were other burlesque performers there. We're just kind of sitting there, like, are they going to hate us? Right. But they were just like, haha, I always thought she looked different.
Yeah.
Her eyes are lighter.
Do you remember how we would rehearse? Helen, remember when your dad came and put mirrors up in your basement?
My dad put mirrors up in my basement when he visited, and I was like, Dad, we're going to be rehearsing in this basement. Oh my goodness. You got to put up mirrors. I got slotted
I remember,
mirrors.
the slotted mirrors.
Like from, I don't even know where.
And then the dance studio.
And we would rehearse at least 3 days a week. And it didn't matter if we had a gig that we were working towards or not.
Oh, no.
Even if we weren't working on something, even if there wasn't a goal, like, okay, in 2 weeks we have this show in Sheboygan, we would rehearse and we would come up with new numbers and we would just consistently meet every day, which I think was part of what kept us going for so long.
And part of that comes from our discipline of having very similar dancing school styles. Yeah. Right? Like we really grew up in a rigid school of dance.
You break your arm, you stay on that stage until the number's over, and then you come off after.
Smile.
And then you can go to the hospital.
And you never
lose that smile. Yeah.
No. And you just keep moving. Like
that's showbiz.
And we came from that same school.
Oh,
dance.
Totally.
Never say die.
And we did,
and that's how
we rolled. Like I really think that's what.
I think that was a huge part of why we connected on that.
It was a very thick, like I don't know, yarn that pulled us together. Like that, we all came from that same.
No, I actually have a difficult time now because I teach dance now, and the kids now do not have you. It's just not the same.
No, we had Miss Joyce. Like you stood.
I had Noretta.
Miss Joyce was our dance teacher.
You were literally
you would not ever say anything.
Nothing. You didn't even speak.
Yep. Anyway. Yeah.
And we came from that same school dance and that discipline, and we danced 3 to 5 days a week. You probably danced a little bit more than us because you went competitive, but I think that we brought that into our Pontani Sisters, and it was no problem. We rolled with it. We were not that's just the way we were, and we wanted to nail everything. Like I remember, like we wanted to just be so synchronized and precise, like and really hit it.
Like,
and
punk rock.
Our kick lines, we did a lot of kick lines, spinning kick lines, all our formations. Like we were really hardcore about everything.
Is your knee pop? Are your hips popped? Are you like?
No, it was down to the toe. You know, it was like, is your toe in the right place? It's like,
this. Yes.
So we would rehearse, at least 3 times a week. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on was the dynamic for you, Helen, specifically, of Tara and I being actual real sisters. People that can actually punch each other in the face and still talk tomorrow.
And wanting to kill. And there were times where we probably really wanted to kill each other.
There were times where we tried to kill each other. I believe First Avenue, and it wasn't on that first night. I think it was when we single. I just remember, did we smack each other in the face, or we almost smacked each other?
I don't know. I got in the middle of a few.
You got in the middle of several fights. You got in the middle of a fight at Windows on the World. You got sisters fight. Italian sisters especially fight. Sometimes it gets physical.
Yeah. Well, and Angie and I are only a year apart, and we're as similar as we are. We're very different humans, and like. This was just something that started out as fun and then grew into our freaking lives. Yes. And we were living together. And I don't even know if we had significant others at the time. Maybe we did. Yeah,
you were with Kyle, your husband now.
But we were like...
I was filing through.
Yeah, you guys did everything together.
Everything was together. So, I mean, 24/7, pretty much.
Yeah, and Tara, like, in the dynamics of our sisterhood, Tara is definitely the more responsible one. Like, when it comes to, like, things like that are, like, tactical.
Yeah.
Like linear mathematical.
Like, where are we sleeping tonight? I'm kind of like, girl, your headdress looks a mess.
Yeah.
That toe's not right. Tara's like, where are we sleeping? Is there gas in the car? Do you have any money? And I'm just like, everything's fine. Let's get more feathers. But Helen, you jumped in between some
heated brawls.
And that takes a lot of bravery. Because these brawls are not for the faint of heart.
No. I mean, I grew up with a loud family that shouted at each other. We didn't hold back. You know, we fought a lot.
You and your brother only a year apart.
Yeah, yes, same thing. So we fought a lot when we were younger. I was very mean to him because I thought he was too passive and I think he needed to toughen up. So anyway, being in between, you know, with the actual sisters, which your point, yes. You guys can say, I hate you, go to hell. And the next morning you're like, hey, do you like my nail polish? You know? Yeah. And it's a little bit different. And you want to try and get that relationship with people. I think the only way you get that relationship with people is either your family or you're sleeping with them. Yeah. Otherwise, is this weird thing. I've never been able to really have it with a friend where you could be like, fuck you. I can't stand you. You're driving me nuts.
It really doesn't exist.
So yes, did I have to like kind of, you know, walk on eggshells a little bit here and there? Of course. But overall, I felt like it was such a nice balance between all of us. And it worked out good for me because when you guys were mad at each other or whatever, like I felt like I was in between and you had someone to talk to and you had someone to talk to. And I felt fine with that. You know what I mean? Like it was like, I don't know. I mean, of course there were hard moments of it, you know, but overall, I think
you deserve a fucking trophy.
I think we all balanced each other out, you know, and
and we would go running together.
Yeah, we had our things. Like I had things that I bonded with you with Ange with, and then Tara. Like I had things I bonded with you with, and it was like this nice thing. And yeah, was it nice all the time? Hell no. But there were hard moments and where we didn't see eye to eye on certain things, or
we would always say it's for the good of the dance.
What did we fight about at First Avenue?
I don't remember. It was probably something absolutely stupid. But I just remember getting into it. I remember you getting in my face and somebody smacked somebody's face.
Shut
and
up.
there were witnesses.
We smacked each other?
The sound person was there.
No.
It was just like, we were in each other's faces.
No memory of this.
Yeah. It wasn't our first run at First Avenue. It was like several years in. We'd been there. They knew us.
You had a few where you guys were like, you know,
in each other's faces.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of aggression.
It's probably so trivial.
Oh, absolutely so trivial.
Oh my God, it always is. And again, if Adam and I were on tour together and, you know, you guys were with, you would have been like the same, you would have seen the same thing. Like, you know.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Yeah. And you guys kind of grew into, like, you stayed together even after home. Like, you didn't break away. Like, Adam and I broke away. So we ended that relationship. We ended you know.
Yeah.
Unplugging his Nintendo.
It was a lot.
You know, we ended me unplugging Nintendo, ending his game, you know, and started a different life. You guys kept going. So
and showbiz is your whole life, right? And when you go out on the road, you are with each other.
Oh my God.
Tara and I were together pretty much since we've been born. Mm-hmm. But like you go on the road and it's like you're sleeping, we slept in the same room. Yeah. We would do rock, paper, scissors to see who got their own bed that night.
Yeah, we really did, and we stuck to it.
It was very serious, and whoever won would be very happy. Right. But we did rock, paper, scissors to see who got their own bed, and that would set up the cycle of the rotation.
Yes.
We drove in the car all day together. We got to the venue. We would unload our trunks.
Job. Yeah, it is literally. When we would go on tour, say it was for a month or whatever, you basically considered that we were working 24/7. Even when we were having breakfast together, even though we enjoyed it, you are in this situation. We have no other choice. Yeah. And not to say that I wouldn't choose that.
It's quarantine on crack. Like, we were...
Quarantine with like a goal. It's like a game show. It's like the great race, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but I would actually always say if there was a great race, like if we were in a TV show that was like, we would kill.
Us three.
We would, just no one could beat us.
Nope. No.
We had all of our skills from a different set. Like...
Map
all three of our skills.
I'm a great map reader, dude.
Oh, we spent a lot of time together. I give it up to Helen, though. There were some times, man, I'll never forget when we were coming down from our gig on Windows of the World, and I was definitely tipsy our bartender took such good care of us. I wish I could remember his name. He gave us vodka gimlets.
He took too good care of us, yeah.
And I definitely had a few vodka gimlets in me, and we were going down. We were on the 100 and whatever floor going down. And we had our go-go boots on.
Oh, we still were in full drag.
Our full outfits, you know.
But Tara, you had on like a biker jacket with your red
bob wig.
I had my red wig on, my full makeup, and then these freaking young dudes were just hopping up and down.
They jumped in the elevator.
I'm not saying it.
Don't say. They jumped in the elevator, and the elevator stopped. Yeah. It stopped. Yeah. In the World Trade Center.
Yes. On like 100 floors.
It was like the 75th floor or something.
Yeah.
And it just got...
They broke the elevator.
And Angie and I are just rolling our eyes going, what the hell, assholes? And then Tara...
But Tara decides to get Clint Eastwood biker bish. And she's literally like, you
It's all your fault.
Had to do this. And then I was like, Tara, just chill, man. And she was like, you. So self-righteous. And at this point, we're circling each other in the elevator like a 1950s biker movie.
And then I definitely...
Like, if I had a switchblade, I would have pulled it.
And you were pushing the intercom for help.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're going to save us all.
You're like, oh, you're such a goody-goody. Oh, it's Angie.
Helen gets in the middle of us.
Yeah, you were about ready to go to blows.
We were ready to go.
I was like,
West Side Story.
Yeah.
The Sharks and the Jets.
That would have been a bad scene when those elevator doors open if Helen didn't.
But then
intervene.
we did eventually make it to the ground level, and we hugged. I hugged the dude that
You didn't hug me. I just want to be very clear. You and I did not hug. You hugged the guy that you started the fight with that I tried to stop the fight. But then you turned on me.
No more vodka for Tara.
Tara hasn't drank vodka since that night.
Well, I did one other time, and it was a horrible thing.
No.
So no more since that
just
night.
no vodka. Yeah.
No vodka for Tara.
So we've had a lot of adventures. We've done a lot of things. We remember them fondly.
Yes.
They have their place in the history books.
Yeah.
Of course.
So when the Pontani Sisters started performing as well, I felt like one of the things that really stunned me is like, we're going out, we're blind, we're happy, we're just like, woo, we're on stage, people are clapping, yay.
We're great.
And then the show will be over and people will come up to you and be like, oh, you made me feel so good about myself. You with your big thighs.
Yeah.
You know, I just remember so many nights that they would say that and we'd be like, wow. And it really brought into this play this concept of body image, something that I never thought about. I mean, of course I thought about it within my own body, but like when I was on stage dancing, I wasn't thinking like, I'm liberating people with my big butt.
I never thought about it.
I mean, I had issues growing up in the world of dance where I was always struggled.
And I remember that. I remember you saying a couple things about I was too big to do this, or I was too short to do that. And I think that has to come from maybe your competitive dance too.
Yeah, totally.
Because Angie and I never really went into competitive dance.
Yeah, no, it definitely comes from that. But I was very aware of it and I knew it and I was aware of like that's not what I should think or know. But it doesn't change the fact that you still feel a certain way. And I remember when we did our documentary, Showy and 5'2", I think I talked about weight a little bit. And I talked about what you just said, Ange, about how people would come up to me and be so surprised that I was so comfortable on stage.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like, what the heck? Like even me with like thinking some of these things, I'm like, but wait, why are you saying that? Because now you're just confirming some of my insecurities.
Right, totally.
So I talked about that on the documentary, and I did get an email from a woman saying that, how could you paint yourself as a Zaptig of a woman who is overweight or whatever? And she was upset with me because she thought I painted a picture of myself being overweight. And what I want to say about that is that I think everyone, you could probably be the thinnest person in the world, but when you look in the mirror, like everyone knows that there's things that you might see that might not be there.
I didn't know somebody wrote you something like this.
Oh yeah, back in the Coney Island day, yeah. She was like, how could you paint? She saw the documentary and she's like, how would you paint yourself a picture of like a woman who, understands what it's like to struggle with weight? And I'm like, yeah, I totally have. Like, I've gone up and down in weight my whole life. And again, maybe someone would consider what my up and down to them is different.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm a dancer. And when I'm not at a certain place, I don't feel comfortable.
Well, and going into that world, you're being scrutinized at a different level. Like when we went on stage, people were expecting to see something different than, 40-inch hips. When you see a dancer come on stage, you're not expecting 40-inch hips.
42.
And we were, I remember people always being, I thought you were so much taller. When we would step down from the
short
stage.
And,
Yes, and we had curves.
And
we were curvy. We
totally.
still are.
And of course that's just one person and no one else has ever really said that to me. But it really stuck out to me after the documentary to be confronted about that at that time too, because people weren't really saying much about sort of like weight and, the political stuff that we've been talking about. And, it was interesting. It made me think. But at the end of the day, it's like how I see myself and how I say I see myself. Even though you might think I look like someone who shouldn't be complaining about that, that right there is the problem in itself.
But I hope then that you do realize that the work that I feel that we did in laying the groundwork for opening the door for body types that aren't ideal in this industry, I feel like we were definitely a part of that as well.
Yeah, the performance industry.
Well, there was a part of us that I didn't set out to. I just wanted to be a performer, but at the end of the day, if someone says you've encouraged me to do something because you feel comfortable with yourself, hell yeah. Like
you broke that for them. You're like, oh, I can do this too. Or that person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we traveled a lot of ground, which changed a lot of things. We did a lot of things. You guys remember our last show together.
Oh, my God.
And I'm talking about our last show, like not a reunion show, because we did a reunion show at the 10th anniversary of the Burlesque Festival, which is about 8 years ago now.
Oh, my God.
Where we performed our Elvis Burning Love number. But do you remember our last show together before that?
Was it Marian's?
Yes. Wait. Was it Murray Hill's show?
It was Murray Hill's Christmas show.
It was Murray Hill's Christmas show.
Oh, yes. And you were on stage
and we had gotten off tour.
Tara got pregnant with twins.
By accident.
By accident, which is the Pontani way. It is a trademark that we like to do.
It was by accident. And the fact that it was twins is just like...
Oh yeah, we knew she was pregnant, and then she texted us twins, and then it was like, what?
But we were actually on the road, much like myself when I found out I was pregnant. We were on the road and found out that Tara was pregnant with twins, and so we finished the tour, and we had one last standing engagement, and that was Murray's Christmas show, and that was our last show together.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And Murray announced it to the audience. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And so then from that, the twins kind of put you into an early retirement.
What? I remember being like, I'm going to come back after 3 months. And I remember I helped with the Burlesque Festival very little that year. And I remember you guys emailing me stuff. And I was at Mom and Dad's and they were helping with the twins. And I was like, okay, I can get to this now. Because kids are just fucking, they really throw you off the rails. And when you have two at the same time, it's
double rail throw.
It's a real freaking curveball. But I remember being like, Ange saying to me, I think it'll be about a year and then you'll come back.
Ange doesn't know anything. She learned that when she had her own singleton.
And I was like, yeah, a year sounds great. Okay, we'll do that. And then, life just has a funny way of just going on. And I think great things came out of that, though, because the Pontani Sisters they went on pause, but you pulled a couple people in and they filled my spot and you went. I was so upset because you guys went to Spain.
I know.
We started to tour Europe.
Oh, yeah, that is the part where it kind of killed me too, because I was like, touring Spain with you would have been like the best thing ever.
I was so upset. Like the month the boys were born, you guys went to Spain, but we did have a European adventure before that, which was Scotland, and that.
Right. We know how you feel about Scotland.
I'm so about Scotland right now. I love Scotland.
She's watching The Outlander.
I've watched it and rewatched it,
and we've been to Scotland twice, so that was.
And Glasgow and Edinburgh, where we met some amazing people and had great times, but the twins took me off course, and that's fine. But they didn't take me off course; they put me on a different course. And the Pontani Sisters were pretty much they had a few.
We kept going. So what we did at that point was, Tara was out with the babies, and so we just were like, okay, who can we bring in? So we brought in Peekaboo Point. Mm-hmm. And she danced with us for about 2 years. And we did some great tours and some great shows. And then we brought in Jessie, who was a dance teacher that taught with Helen. Mm-hmm. We brought in Jessie for a while. And then ultimately it became the main attraction. And she always joked that she's our Sicilian sister.
Yeah.
But, and Maine was great. And she really stuck. And, we still performed together. But it's hard you can never recreate that dynamic as it is, So at that point we kind of like joked that we became Menudo. And it was like, we're just kind of cycling in different people. And it's like, if you're available for this time period and you can do these numbers and you can pick up this choreography. And it decidedly changed the entity as it was. And I think even the audience connection with it. But we did still perform together with that for quite a while. I mean, really, only up until 5 years ago. Yeah. About 5 years ago. We cycled in and out people. But it was, you cannot recreate the chemistry that we had. And that kind of relationship and the dynamic, I think, that we had.
There's no way.
No, we were on a similar course.
It's a magical thing that I don't think a lot of people will get to experience in their life. Like, I know a lot of people are solo performers and they might have their own journey of amazingness. But, like, for as long as we lasted, And I mean, I think we're still lasting. We're still here.
Absolutely.
We're still hanging out. We're still friends. We still support each other every day.
Absolutely.
Like, you just don't ever, like, in a lifetime, to meet people and connect and then go on that journey together is insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's just insane. Like, I still sometimes think about how insane it is, and sometimes I want so much respect for it. Like, sometimes when people don't realize, I'm like, you don't know how insane that is that happened and that we did it.
The Pontani sisters get a little bit of a diss in the history books of burlesque, because we weren't out there straight stripping. But I think that we really paved the way for burlesque to become an awareness for burlesque in a lot of places. I mean, we played like the Piggly Wiggly Festival, we
put our work in and our sweat and tears and like all the books that are coming out and stuff. I love all of our sister and brother burlesque performers, but like some of it hurts a little bit to see that people are not acknowledging the fact that we were part of it, and it, like, we're part of that history, and don't forget it and don't erase us,
What do you think of the burlesque scene today? Like, looking at it, do you feel connected to it at all? Do you feel like you see our whispers upon it? Are you not aware of it?
I'm so not. I wish I was aware. My life has brought me in so many different directions with my kids that I'm very unaware of the current burlesque scene. It seems to be thriving. I mean, it seems to be pulsing forward.
I mean, I pay attention to it. For me, I feel it's important to know what's happening, after what we've done. Unfortunately, I don't get out to as many shows as I would like or whatever, but I'm around it. And, I mean, I love to see anything that, grows from, I love to see the new performers and what they're doing. And I feel like some people are so, innovative and, creative, things that I don't think I saw before. But yeah, overall, I don't feel like I see enough of it, but I like what's happening.
It's still here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing,
yeah,
right?
That's it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But what are you doing now?
So I am also known in the world as Toning with Tara.
Yes, Toning with Tara.
And I've become a fitness instructor because I love fitness. And since we've been in quarantine, I've been doing free workouts every morning, and everyone is welcome. That's it. That's it on my fitness journey.
Great. And where can people find out about your fitness journey? See, this is a thing, man.
You can go.
She can book a hotel, but she can't promote her freaking self.
I'm horrible at promoting myself.
Where can people find you?
You can go to Instagram at Toning with Tara. You can go to toningwithtara.com. Facebook, Toning with Tara.
And don't you do workouts that everybody could enjoy, from grandmom to little sporty pants?
8-year-olds to 75-year-olds and above, probably. Yes, everyone can do my workouts. 40 minutes, total body, no equipment needed.
Boom.
Damn.
Helen.
Yes.
What's cooking in your world, girl?
Well, girl, like, when Pontani Sisters, like, we were touring and then we'd be off tour, I started teaching dance during that.
Yes, because we literally worked consistently until about 5 years ago when I had sis. Yeah. And then it kind of cut back a little bit where we were just doing a couple hits a year.
Exactly. So I started going like full force, teaching dance pretty much. Yeah, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching dance to kids. I love it. It's amazing. I'm, passing on, what I've learned in my whole life. And I honestly feel like the burlesque thing, a lot of the parents love that because they know I have this knowledge of, like, I don't know. I feel like I worked in the trenches of dance. Yeah. Like, I did it.
Yeah. It's the showbiz gutter.
The showbiz gutter, and I'm just, like, sharing it, and I'm sharing it with the kids,
Yeah.
And, yeah, and I'm working, there's other little things, like creative things that I do on the side and stuff. But overall, it's, teaching dance right now. And, yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh, you retired? And I'm like, no, I'm just taking a break.
I'm just waiting for that right opportunity. Yeah, I'm like, before the quarantine happened, we were going to do a gig, a birthday party for one of the producers of a show that we did in 2008 to 2010. This is burlesque. Oh, we were going to do a reunion show.
Oh my God, I remember that.
That was, I mean, other than the Pontani Sisters, that's the other thing that stuck out to me. That was one of my favorite things. Was
that
This
show
is
was
Burlesque
great.
at Choreo.
This is Burlesque.
That ran for a while.
We ran for 2 years, and we ran 4 nights a week.
4 nights a week. It was like being in an off-Broadway show that was running.
Honestly, that's just when I had the boys.
Yeah.
And Ange and I lived in an apartment building. There were only a couple apartments in the building, and I was on the second floor. Ange was on the first floor, and I would wait for her car to come home.
About 3 a.m.
Yes, and she may have been tipsy.
I was absolutely wasted.
Yeah. And I would see, because I would be up with the boys, because I literally did not sleep the first year of their lives. And I would see her come in, and I would literally be like, open my door, and like, Ange! And she would come up, and I'd be like, sit down! And she would sit in the rocking chair, and I would put a baby in her lap.
There are multiple pictures of me with all my show makeup on, drunk AF, holding a baby.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just sitting there.
Just don't move. Just don't get up. Just hold the baby.
It's 3 a.m. I'm holding them in full makeup.
And because I didn't want to wake Kyle because he had to work. I was like, Ange, you hold one baby. I hold another baby. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
I didn't drop them.
Nope, and they're fine.
I love that.
They have survived.
And
No, but
This
Is Burlesque was a great. I felt like, after Tara left, there was a tremendous shock to the Pontani Sister ecosystem. And we tried to kind of figure it out. And when This Is Burlesque struck up in 2008, 2007.
No, it happened while I was pregnant because I came to a show.
Is that 2007?
I was pregnant in 06 and 07.
So it was 2007.
It was 2007, and Miss Astrid, I
made
will never
a joke.
forget. I said this on one of my workouts because Kate, Miss Astrid, is in my morning workouts, and she has this amazing. She can drop a joke, and it's just like the funniest thing you ever heard. And I was sitting in the audience, and she was like, "We have a celebrity in the audience. It's Tara Pontani, and she has more penises in her body than some. I can't even remember.
Then possible, yeah.
And because I had twin boys, and it was the funniest.
That's actually a maximum amount possible.
Yeah. Are you sure?
I don't know.
No, actually, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Cut that whole part.
No, keep it in.
So it was 2007 that This Is Burlesque started.
Yeah, and we ran until 2010, but we really created a beautiful full show, and that's where we started using Peekaboo as the third Pontani, and we toured Spain with her as well.
Yeah.
So, but you can't, you have your moments of magic, you ride them out, and you keep on moving.
Angie, so what about you?
What are you doing
me,
now?
little old me.
What are you doing?
Well, I have a podcast.
I got TWT going on. Helen is teaching the world how to dance.
Yes, well, I have this podcast right now, and I hope one day to return to my life outside of my house.
Yes.
Where I can do a show on a
will.
stage with humans. I'm doing this podcast right now to pass the time while we're in quarantine. I hope to keep doing it because I think it's really exciting.
I love podcasts.
I mean, talking to different people about burlesque is a niche art form, and we all have our own experiences within it. But ultimately, when you look at the grand context of burlesque from the 1600s until now, which I've only learned about because I just started reading. I just started reading books.
1600s?
Yes, girl. It started in the 1600s. That's the first reference of burlesque. Is in the 1600s. Poet Francesco Berni started writing poems that were satirically based, and this is the first example of burlesque that we see. It's like satire. So that has gone from the 1600s to the satirical poetry about politics and religion and marriage and relationships up into what we see today, right? Satire is strong, and it still exists right now. So for myself, I'm learning more about the history of burlesque. I'm sharing it within this podcast. I'm raising my beautiful daughter who wears crop tops, even though she's only 4 years old, and we have a small issue about
Let
that.
her live.
But
Let her live.
So, but that's it. That's what I'm doing right now, and I'm very excited about this podcast because it has been. I've only spoken to like 6 people so far, but everybody's different experiences are really interesting. It's amazing to see the journeys that it takes people on.
So I just hope that that at some point in my life that I can find the magic again that we had. It's something that I search for and I dream of, and I know that it might not look the same or feel the same, but I know it's out there.
I feel like
I want to find it again.
I love that you said that.
I love it. I search for it all the time.
I think we really hit the right time.
I feel like we had a lightning strike. I feel like the world, we literally came together at a point in time, and things were just right.
And there was no plan. It was all just
literally no plan.
You couldn't have less of a plan.
No,
But were you seeking something out? So I know I was seeking to find a dance situation.
Both wanted to be on the stage.
All I wanted to do.
So we were both seeking that out hardcore. Like my brain and my heart and my soul was in it. Like,
girl, you were almost in style. Like you came to New York. Everybody comes to New York City. If you were not born
bright
here,
lights, big city.
You come here with some sort of ambition. And whether it's to just be around all different kinds of people.
But there was no plan. There was no like extreme training.
But we had ambition.
No,
and I feel like our paths crossed in this funny way. And it was pure electric magic fun. And I think we had such a beautiful time. I feel like it was such a blessing. I feel so blessed. Like, I feel like I learned so many life lessons from it. And just from traveling this whole country many times and going to Europe and truly, I mean, Scotland is such a part of that.
Your obsession with Scottish men? Like, if we can just boil it right down.
God, yeah, but never mind. So you think about the things that came out. Like Brother Cleve was another one that came out. Pontani Sisters.
Yeah.
Russell, like the people we met along the way that were just like, oh my God.
No, it's tremendous. And it's a fiber that continues today, even in my solo work. Like I work with Brother Cleve still. I'm working with Russell still. It's like you connect this network that goes above and beyond, you know? It's showbiz. And it's above and beyond burlesque. It's pure showbiz.
Yeah. But we had a beautiful run of things and it was awesome. And we had experiences that was just like,
will we do a reunion one day?
Hell yeah.
Why not? I mean, how fun would that be? Who gives a shit?
I mean, after toning with Tara, we're in better shape than we were in frickin'...
That's right. Every day, Monday through Friday, 8:45 Eastern
and you
time.
can just tune in for updates at ToningWithTara.com. Three sisters, man.
Wait, hang on.
You cannot make it up. You don't need to be born out of the same hoo-ha.
No, you don't. You don't.
It does not matter. We worked it out. We played it out. We stayed it out.
Oh, we had such a good... We're good. We're still
All
solid.
right.
We're still solid.
Showbiz.
Showbiz!
I told you it was a wild ride. I hope everyone enjoyed my conversation with my dear sweet sisters, Tara and Helen, also known as the World Famous Pontani Sisters. We twisted through time. Don't forget, you can keep up with them on Instagram. My sister Tara is toning.withtara, and Helen is Helen Pontani, and you know where to find me, Angie Pontani. So get on over there to Instagram, keep up with us there, and until next time, I'll see ya on the bump and grind.
This has been a Giant Panda King production. You can find us at giantpandaking.com and on Instagram at giantpandaking.